Hey guys, AilouPup here, and today I'm bringing to you a review of The Breath of Owls by Spade. I read the ebook version of this book, so instead of me holding the book like I usually do, I'm just going to have a picture of the cover up next to my head somewhere, either here or here. I'm not really sure where. Before I start, I would like to make note that this review comes from a request from the author, but the opinions and thoughts I have for the book, as in my other reviews, are my own. The Breath of Owls follows Pellman, who is a young tanner who really hates his job. His father wants him to stay and follow in his footsteps, but Pellman dreams of going to the city of Alveg and becoming a hunter. He leaves on his own in the hopes of following his dreams, without his father being there to tell him what he should and shouldn't do. Shortly after arriving in Alveg, his best friend Teleg disappears, and it falls upon Pellman to find him. Pellman and Teleg aren't really seen together all that much in the beginning, and especially not after Teleg disappears. But from when they are together, there is a definite relationship there. Pellman always seems to be trying to look after Teleg, and certainly he embarks on a journey in order to find his friend. Teleg seems to be in some ways a bit of a troublemaker, or maybe just in general a bit reckless, while on the other hand, Pellman seems to be a bit of a coward, especially in the beginning. As the book progresses, we see a dramatic change in Pellman and in Teleg both. Pellman grows significantly braver, and Teleg just seems to grow a bit more depressed before his disappearance. But despite Teleg's moodiness, Pellman always tries to stay close to Teleg, and that is what I loved about Pellman as a character, his absolute loyalty towards Teleg. I personally think Spade does show his promise as an author. I really enjoyed the world that he had created, but in the way that he had written, there were times that I had trouble deciding what some characters look like, since sometimes he doesn't really explain what they look like. The only races that he really explains what they look like are the Malian race and the Krongos race, and that is only because it's Pellman's first time seeing them, and because of this I can get a general idea of what they look like, while the Hevlins, which is the race that Pellman belongs to, I have a less clear idea of what they look like and mostly see them as humanoid creatures with 3 nostrils. The one thing I came back to constantly while I was reading was that the pace is a bit iffy a lot of the time. There were times when it was paced alright, because things would be happening when they were stopped in a town or a city. But when they were traveling, days, weeks, even months went by without anything really happening, meaning that the most it would say sometimes would be that this amount of time has passed and this is what they've been doing. And it did it a little bit in the beginning as well when they were in Alveg, but not to the extent that it did while they were traveling. This is unfortunately my main problem with the book, but it is really my only problem. I don't care much that I don't get a clear indication of what characters look like, as long as I enjoy who they are, and I do. I haven't read the other books in this series yet, so I don't know how it is there or how much has changed, but I am certainly curious to see what happens to the characters and how things are different from the first book. Because it is a bit too fast-paced at times, I do feel that there were some relationships that just weren't explained too well, mainly with the love interest. When he first meets her, it took me a while to realize that she would become the love interest, which I did enjoy. Too often I see in books that you can tell immediately who the love interest will be, just by how the protagonist acts around them. But at the same time, I do feel that this could have been one of those things that could have been explained better or explored better had the book been a little bit better paced. With all this in mind, I have given this book a 4 out of 5. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more book-related videos from me.